The U.S. Centers for Disease and Prevention announced that the U.S. has its very first confirmed case of the coronavirus, which appeared in Wuhan, China last month. Now, to break down exactly what the virus is all about, I've got with me Dr. Sujata Nilavar. She's a family doctor with Azure Medical Clinic in Surrey. So let's say hello to her. Sujata, most welcome to the program. How are you?
Good, how are you? Thank you.
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. So tell me a little bit about this virus.
So this virus is a new virus, and we're finding that just recently that it is transmittable to human beings.
Right.
But unfortunately, we don't have any medications, and we really want to be aware of what the symptoms are and how to treat them. And looking at those symptoms like cough, not being able to keep up with your hydration, those are times when you want to come and see me. But most importantly is you really do have to have that contact with someone coming from the country or through the traveling.
And when it comes to the treatment, what sort of thing is at play here, or what's the availability of it?
So once again, it's a virus, so we don't have an antibiotic for a virus. So really we're looking at supportive treatment. So what does that mean? For those that are otherwise healthy, we usually have a pretty good immune system.
Right.
And we can sustain ourselves with things over the counter like Tylenol and ibuprofen and staying hydrated. But for those that are very young or very old, then we need to be a little bit more careful and be aware of symptoms that could get worse. So if they're not able to stay hydrated, or their symptoms of cough or fever are not being controlled with over-the-counters, they need to be seen by either myself or go to the emergency room.
So when we talk about, the SARS epidemic that happened a few years ago, are we seeing something like that in terms of the severity, or perhaps a global scare possibly linked to this virus?
Yeah, possibly. So it is contact droplets. So with that, as you remember with SARS, there was a bit of an isolate, they would kind of contain it or isolate people that had been traveling.
Right.
So yeah, we're looking at something like that. So washing our hands and covering our mouths, kind of the normal day-to-day hygiene that we will profess to people to protect against the flu viruses is very much the same for this.
The U.S. not being that far away from us, and a lot of us do travel through China, and a lot of us do travel through the U.S. What do we need to kind of keep in mind?
I think really looking at the first two things is where it's originated from. So if there's any travel that's in China or through China, to be aware of that. And secondly is if you do develop a fever shortly after that trip, to be aware.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing that information.
You're very welcome.
We really appreciate you taking the time with us.
Thank you very much.
To watch Darpin stories as to what's happening, what's new, what's trending, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Like and share and subscribe.